Excellent. So thanks everyone. We're going to talk about no-touch cybersecurity with Tripwire. In fact, I'm going to talk about three things today in only about less than 10 minutes. One, what's happening in security around industrial automation. Two, what's a high-level strategy you could think about of how to approach security, and how would you articulate security to customers and partners around industrial control system security challenges. And three, I'm going to tell you what we've been building at Tripwire around CCM for industrial automation. And it's something that actually we've been working on a couple years, working with Rockwell around building a solution for this. So we're really excited to talk about that today. First, industrial control system security is an increasing challenge to many people in the industry today. In fact, I was recently on a webinar with the SANS Institute, which is a very well-known training institute around security. In fact, they do industrial security training these days, and they put out a report on the state of industrial security. A couple of interesting findings from that report they came out with this year. First finding, they asked industrial control system experts, what's the biggest thing you're concerned about with security? Anyone want to guess what it is? Availability. So we think of, in IT security, people are often thinking about confidentiality. They're thinking about, well, how do I protect my data from leaving it? But in industrial systems, we're mostly focused first on keeping the systems up, avoiding downtime. And I'll talk more about that as we go. Second concern for people, safety. Safety, obviously, a key challenge anytime you're talking about manufacturing. Third thing I learned from this survey is we talked about how high is the threat. And what we've seen is actually, in the last year, people are perceiving the threat to their industrial environment is up 20% from what it was a year ago. So an increasing level of threat, and we're concerned about availability. So what can we do about those challenges? Second thing, and I apologize for the PowerPoint conversion here, but often we think about security in terms of it's the malicious hacker, it's the Eastern European crime syndicate, and what is this bad guy going to do? It turns out many of the cyber incidents we see that affect availability, it's not some bad guy, it's actually someone internal who just made a mistake. They misconfigured a system, or they accidentally got malware from their PC and they brought it into the industrial environment. And the statistics are actually the accidental, inadvertent challenges are actually creating more problems for manufacturing environments than the malicious hackers are. The good news is, building a resilient environment, you're doing the same things to protect you from malicious outside attackers as protecting you from inadvertent, incidental problems that are making their way into the environment. And I'll talk about some of the things that we could do to help with that as well. So, if you want to build an industrial control system security solution, here's some advice for you. First, you have to look for solutions that are practical. You want to look for things that understand the industrial environment that you're working in. And let me give you an example of what doesn't work for that. We've seen for almost 20 years, people who have taken traditional IT security tools and tried to run them in industrial environments and manufacturing environments as is, and they've been creating disruption and downtime to the manufacturing environments for decades. They run a vulnerability scanner, which is going to send thousands of packets out to all of your different industrial systems, and these systems weren't built to be able to figure out, well, what do I do with all this information? And so these are very dangerous things to do if you just try and use standard IT tools. You really need to adapt them to the OT environment that you're working in. And the third thing you want to think about is, how do I make this connection between the IT security team and what's happening in OT? Maybe I have an OT security concern and I want to do it wholly in that environment, but what if I want to provide some data out of the OT environment back into IT security? So look for solutions that can help you with the convergence between those two different things. I'm going to stand back here. So at Tripwire, working with ProSoft, we've actually created what I would call a simple 1, 2, 3 approach of how you should be thinking about industrial cybersecurity. It starts like this. 1, think about how do you secure the industrial network. If you're running a flat open network where every device can talk to every other device in your manufacturing operation, that's not a resilient network design. So think about how can you architect something in ways that what IEC 62443, which is an industrial cybersecurity standard, would talk about in terms of zones and conduits. How do I make the connections so only the devices that need to talk to each other can actually communicate with each other? And Rockwell, with their Stratix devices, can help you build a secure network architecture. And ProSoft also makes wireless devices to help you add a secure wireless component to that secure network design. Second, think about how to secure the PCs in your industrial environment. What we've learned in security is the most likely system to be exploited in an industrial environment is a Windows PC. So you want to think about, how do I bring the same kind of security controls that I would use in an IT environment, but tailored and adapted to work on your Windows PCs running in your industrial environment. And those could be the back-end systems that are running things like HMIs or your Rockwell FactoryTalk software. Third, how do I secure my PLCs, my industrial controllers? How can I bring security controls, basic security hygiene into those kind of systems? So I'll talk about how we can do that. What we've built at Tripwire is something we call Tripwire CCM for industrial automation. It takes a no-touch approach to solving that third security challenge. How do I secure the industrial PLCs and the industrial controllers? The way we do that is by working with Rockwell and working with Rockwell's FactoryTalk Asset Center product. So instead of trying to go scan or assess or touch the PLCs directly in that environment, instead we work with the information that's already available in FactoryTalk Asset Center. And we take all that information and we put a security lens on top of it to help give you information about how secure are these systems? Do they have vulnerabilities on them? Are their configurations changing? And the other kind of basic security controls you want to layer on top of it. We do that for the PLCs. We also do it for the standard Windows PCs, network devices, and Unix devices that are sitting in your industrial environment. We do three things that would be considered basic security hygiene that every industrial environment needs to have. That's configuration monitoring. So are these systems properly configured? Could we detect if they were misconfigured in a way that created a security challenge? Do they have vulnerabilities on them? Is there an advisory that came out from Rockwell or ICS CERT that said, these are an insecure system, this is an insecure state, and I need to go apply a patch, I need to update a firmware, there's a risk here I want to know about. And third, we detect change. So did someone make a malicious or unintentional change into one of these systems? We can tell you that for your Windows PCs, for your network devices, all the way to your PLCs and in the environment with this solution. We've actually partnered with Rockwell doing this integration with FactoryTalk Asset Center. The way it works is we actually connect to the FactoryTalk SQL database that is the back-end database storage for all of the SQL and for all of the information in your FactoryTalk environment. We take that information, we tell you about configuration settings, and then anytime Rockwell puts out a new security advisory, we automatically pull that information into our software, help you immediately assess, do I have any of those vulnerabilities in my environment? So if you're looking to add basic security hygiene into your industrial environment, covering your industrial PCs, your Windows PC systems, and extending it all the way to the PLC, but you want to do it in a way that is provably non-invasive, non-disruptive, and will not take down your manufacturing environment because it doesn't even touch those systems, Tripwire has built a solution that can help you with that. If you want to find out more information, we have a demo right over there in our booth that you can see a live demo. We're doing some upcoming webinars in the coming months about it, and we'd love to talk to you about it one-on-one as well. Thank you so much for your time.